Cracked in the air, deep center field. Thomas on the move. It's off the wall. Ohtani's in to score. Here comes the winning run. Japan turns it around on its last breath.
We one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. Just gotta mean something, you. They gotta mean something. Everything you got. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Finish.
You ready to make history? Come on now. Yeah. You know there's these two words. And when I say them, people get goosebumps cause they know what happens next. So without further ado,
free smoke.
Look, scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver. Pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience. I don't know why I feel so bad, nigga. That's what we do, no foundation. We don't build no more, we just screw. Half a bottle of Henny, girl, I'm going with the wind. The same niggas say they happy for me, ain't want me to win. So I'm done on my friends. Don't need help popping Coronas and reminiscing. I just call up Big Bro J and say it's time for venting. If I live forever, I hold this hate for some centuries. You don't know how much or how you doing what it meant to me, but motherfuck all that. I don't even offer up the time to make the call back. Stupid Lodo, if they don't get the picture now, man, I crop them out of the photo. I can't relate to my peers. Been doing this shit for years. I'm motivated by fears. I took the wheel and I steer. My sound not dictated by fuck boys in Atlanta. Stay gifted like this album was ghost written by Santa Bars forever, like they decided to throw me under Slammer. Every song's a hit like they picture me underhanders. I could drop 1,000,000 songs, but they never gon' understand us. Soapbox sermons for niggas never giving chances. Fight our whole lives to get these weak ass advances. Work twice as hard for the shit that they getting handed. And this ain't even nothing we chose, nigga, we branded. Still can't tell why all of these niggas mad at me. I'm trying to get 100 so I can put my team on salary. Give it all to the art, man, I turn my life to a gallery. Man, damn, what a fucked up masterpiece. 1,100 shots and I swear, man, I felt them all. If we ain't even good on our block, man, who can we call? Pre-decline state of mind, we broke crabs in the barrel. Got us fighting our folk, man, this shit just a life of peril.
The 0-2 to Turner, and he throws this one deep left field. Trey Turner, grand slam, home run on an 0-2 pitch. The United States takes a 9-7 lead.
Welcome to Kicking It with Saint. The WBC championship game is set. And I'm pretty sure it's tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure it's tomorrow. It's very weird that Japan got to play. Spoiler alert, Japan won. It's weird that Japan have to play again tomorrow in the championship game rather than getting at least 1 day of rest. But anyways, Japan took on Mexico tonight, and what a fucking game. Every single one of these, I'm telling you, bro, if you haven't watched one of these games, you're missing out. Like, I couldn't tell you a single person well, that's a lie. I know 2 players on Japan. Well, I know 3 players on Team Japan. But I don't, obviously, Shohei, Lars Nootbaar, Masataka Yoshida, who is a Boston Red Sox, got signed in the offseason. Aside from that, though, and out of those 3, the only one that's really proven in the States is Shohei. Masataka Yoshida is good. And there's a lot of studs throughout the Japan lineup. We just aren't familiar with them here in the States. And obviously, you know, a couple of the players in the Mexico lineup. Shout out to Randy Arozarena. Randy Arozarena has had an unbelievable WBC outing. A shame that they had to lose the way they lost. I'll get into that in a minute. But an absolute showman, an absolute stud. I think he made himself a lot of bread throughout this tournament. Like the defensive play, he stole a home run tonight, bro, and knew exactly what to do once he stole the home run. To sit there, the blank stare, bro, Like, this dude is an absolute showman, bro. And to see the reaction from the crowd going crazy. This dude signing autographs during play, like in between pitches and whatnot. Like, Randy Arozarena is an absolute star. And you might have got hints of this throughout him playing for the Rays, but you didn't know Randy was like this. Obviously, you knew Randy was a great player, and he has hit phenomenal in the WBC. He had another good game tonight. This dude is clutch as all hell, bro. Like, I cannot remember the last time I seen a young player this young as clutch as Randy. Like, Randy is very clutch. He come up with a lot of big hits in a lot of key situations. And I'm going to tell you, one of the things that I like about the WBC, the longer the WBC went, you could see players start to calm down and take better, like settle into the plate, see pitches better. Like, I think that's one of the reasons a lot of scoring is happening in a lot of these games. Like, if you look at some of these batters at bats, they are having a lot of great at bats. Some of the best at bats ain't even ending in hits. Like, some of these dudes is taking pitchers so deep in the count, taking 6, 7, 8, 9 different attempts during the at bats. Like, I just think the tournament, as the longer it went, the more teams done played, the more guys done settled in, and the better the tournament done been. It's funny when you have a tournament as great as this, and I think it's easy. This is easily the best WBC in recent memory. When you have a tournament this great, it's easy for people to now turn around and be like, oh, it was too short. I wish it was longer, and yada, yada, yada. That's how you know you put on a great performance. So even though Mexico went home tonight, shout out to Mexico. Patrick Sandoval pitched. Shout out to Pablo, but Patrick Sandoval, starting pitcher for Mexico tonight, also starting pitcher for the Angels. He pitched a hell of a game tonight. He pitched a hell of a game against Team USA earlier in the tournament, but in the pool rounds, a phenomenal game by him tonight. Did not get the win because, boy, as has been the problem with a lot of teams throughout the WBC, that pitching staff, man. See, it's weird how this is happening, because I don't even think you do have a couple teams out there who don't have great starting or back end pitching, like Team USA, even though I don't even think Team USA's pitching is as bad as like some of these other teams. Like, some of these other teams have great starting pitching. Like, you look at Japan tonight, the pitcher that they had on the mound before he gave up the 3-run homer off of a hanging splitter, which, by the way, the starting pitcher for Japan tonight, I think he only threw 2 pitches, threw like 2 types, a splitter and a fastball. Mind you, his fastball clocked in at like 100 the entire outing. At one point in time, I think they said he had threw like 20 of 21 of his fastballs was all popped 100 miles per hour. And so he threw that. He threw a splitter. I think they said he threw a slider once, but for the most part, he only threw 2 pitches, which was wild to me. But eventually he got pulled because he gave up a 3-run blast on a hanging splitter to Luis Urias. I don't really know how you pronounce his name. I'm going to say Luis Urias. Either way, he played for the Milwaukee Brewers. He had a 3-run tank. The craziest coil action on his batting stance, bro. How he bend all the way back like that and then coil up to get, it's crazy. I don't know how he do that, but an absolute tank, because the starting pitching had been great to that point before he had got that hit. And Mexico is clutch as all hell, bro. Clutch is all hell. But what doomed Mexico, in my opinion, for one, Japan started to settle in even more throughout the night, because they even started to hit Patrick Sandoval towards the end of his, like, I saw when it was time, when they saved a home run, when Randy saved his home run, he immediately gave up a big, like a strong hit to the next batter, and then gave up another. I think he either walked the next dude after that. After that, I knew it was time to get him out. I knew it was time to get him out after he gave up the hit after almost giving up the home run. I was like, yeah, it's time for Patrick to get on up out of here. After that, I think it was Jose Urquidy, the dude who played for the Astros. And he did a good job. The problem was he didn't get, he came in like the 5th. If you could have got him to stay in all the way to the 7th or 8th, mind you, I think he did stay in all the way to the 6th or 7th. Man, you probably had a chance, because the 3 pitchers that came in after those starting the two first pitchers for Mexico, they really fucked you, because I'm trying to remember these dudes' names. You got Romero was one of them. One of the pitchers couldn't find the zone, which is a problem that you seeing a lot of these dudes come out of the bullpen having. They cannot find the zone to save their life. And Mexico's Romero couldn't find the zone. I think it was another dude who came in named Cruz. He couldn't find the zone. And I'm going to tell you it was crazy. The dude who gave up the 3-run tank to Yoshida Masataka Yoshida, before he gave up that home run to him, it was 2 outs. And before he had gave up the home run, before the at bat had ended, I think after the first 2 at bats, because I said out loud as I was watching the game, I was like, yo, they got to take this dude out. He about to give up a tank. But I said, I thought that he was going to be able to get out of this inning and make it to the next inning. And I was like, yo, you can't put this dude in the next inning. Like, he is already burnt out. Like, they already are seeing him very well. Well, he didn't make it to the end of that inning because Masataka Yoshida took him deep for a 3-run tank. Shout out to Masataka Yoshida, who will be a Boston Red Sox this upcoming year. Tie game. You go to the next inning, and that motherfucker Randy get a big time double. Alex Verdugo followed up and get a double to score Randy. And then another big hit gets Alex Verdugo in. So Mexico takes a 2-run lead. Now, deep in this game, once they went through those 3 pitches that really cost them this game, Mexico this game, it was a part in this game where it was 2 dudes on. No, I think they even loaded the bases. And they had 2 outs. And they needed the strikeout that they ended up getting. No, it was 4 pitchers. The one dude who came in and to save the bad inning from Cruz, I believe, or Romero. It was somebody who came in to save one of those 2 innings for those 2. And he got the last strikeout. If he did not get that strikeout, the bases would have been loaded. And he would have had to face Shohei Ohtani. And I believe that was in the 8th or 7th inning. And the reason it's important is because I said to myself, you have to get him out. Because if you do not get this dude out, you're losing this game. Matter of fact, it was in the 8th. I was like, you're losing this game if you don't get this dude out, because Shohei Ohtani is going to score these dudes. Like, you could just feel it building. They bring in Giovanni Gallegos, the closer for the Cardinals. A good player, a good pitcher, good closer, one of the better closers. And boy, you could just see from the start he ain't have it. He throw a hanging change up to get blasted by Shohei for a double. And he lucky it didn't take like a couple more bounces, because it could have been a triple with the way Shohei run. You see my boy Shohei running around in bases. He flip off the helmet. It's go time, baby. It's go time. I love baseball. But Shohei on base. And from that point on, I said, yeah, this probably a dub right here, bro. It's probably a dub, because some of the best hitters in Japan's lineup was coming up. Not to mention, just go and look at how good these at-bats were for both teams, really, at the back end of this game. Boy, the WBC having that pitch limit on pitchers is a great deal, because it forced you to take the starting pitcher who could be dealing at the time out if a team can't get to that starting pitcher. The problem, that bullpen. If you don't have a reliable bullpen in the WBC, you are doomed, because the hitting lineups for every country, even if we don't know some of these lineups throughout for some of the countries, you have to imagine that, imagine this, the pitchers that came in for Mexico tonight. Imagine them going up against a USA lineup. Okay, now most of these lineups, while most of them aren't as great as Team USA's, Japan got just as great a lineup as Team USA, because a lot of the dudes, if not every dude on their team, is a stud in Japan. So when you have this type of when dudes start to settle in and take great at bat, like I think it's a dude who won 2 MVPs and he ain't even 20 before he hit the age of 23 for Japan, bro. That's insane. Like to win 2 MVPs in the Japan League. It's another dude on the team who the only dude in Japan who had 30 home runs the last 5 seasons. Like it was a lot of studs on Team Japan, bro. It was a dude who was great at bunting, but he was also like a great contact hitter. Like it was so many studs on Team Japan. One of the things that I'm happy about for Team Japan is that the 2 dudes, like the walk-off by Murakami, which is a dude who was struggling throughout the entire WBC and got a big time hit to win the game in a walk-off fashion. Look at my boy Shohei fly around them motherfucking bases. Shohei is an absolute national treasure. I hope Shohei learned good enough English to where he can become even bigger in the States. Because Shohei seemed like a fun dude. Like you look at all the clips of him having fun in the dugout and whatnot. I really wish he could speak good enough English to where, you know, American fans can latch on to him, because he could speak to the American fans at times and we understand what he's saying without needing a translator. But nonetheless, still an absolute stud. But Shohei, when you walk it off like that and you look at this lineup for Japan, no. Fuck the walk off for a second. Back to my point where I'm happy about Shohei. I'm happy that Shohei and Masataka Yoshida. I'm glad he and Shohei. And once Masataka Yoshida become a stud in the MLB like Shohei, I'm not saying he gonna become Shohei, but he become a stud, he'll be that one name basis like Yoshida. But with Masataka Yoshida and Shohei, I'm glad that both of those dudes had played such critical roles in this win for Japan. For the simple reason, like you saw Shohei getting dudes rallied up in the dugout because they do play for America, for American teams. They are recognizable faces to a lot of fans now, even though Yoshida might not be at the moment. But Boston fans know who he is. That makes it even better for Japan because you see that type of talent. You see that they made major league rosters. You see that Shohei Ohtani is a generational talent. That make you want to learn more about these Japanese players even more. I love the Tokyo Dome. I think the Tokyo Dome is a beautiful baseball dome. Also, just a beautiful name, the Tokyo Dome. So simple, so simplistic, so beautiful. But shout out to Japan. Absolute fucking stunning game. They'll move on to take on Team USA. It's going to be a tough one because Japan's hitters are so good to where Team USA's pitching got to be on. If Team USA don't have a great pitching outing, this is going to be a tough. It's going to be a tough one because Team USA I think Team USA will be fine. I think they got the hitters. But hey, you going up against a lot of dudes. I'm pretty sure Yu Darvish is who they'll play against. And they done seen Yu Darvish. I'm pretty sure every single player in Team USA's lineup done seen Yu Darvish a number of times. I know Mookie and Will Smith. Will Smith not playing. It'll be JT Realmuto. But JT Realmuto just saw Yu Darvish also in the NLDS. I think it was when we played them. Nonetheless, I think that that's who will take the mound for. Now, I do agree with how Japan played this because the kid that played tonight, I believe, is 19. You couldn't play him against Team USA for two reasons specifically. He only throw 2 pitches, and the 2 pitches he throw, you cannot guarantee that the American hitters, who is some of the top hitters, not just in America, in baseball, period, is not going to latch on to just high velocity fastballs and splitters. You cannot just come to the plate with those 2 pitches and think that you're going to mow down a lineup with Mookie, Trout, Schwarber, Turner, Realmuto. Like, that's not happening. Arenado, Goldie, that's not happening. You are not mowing down. I wonder what happened to Kyle Tucker. He didn't play last game. So I do agree with Japan's game plan that if you get to the finals, you play Yu Darvish, a guy who done seen these hitters before. Now, here's the one thing for Japan. You the dudes who played tonight in the bullpen, you imagine won't play tomorrow, or at least won't play a long time tomorrow. If they do, or if Japan don't have much better to offer from the bullpen, then they could be in trouble if Yu Darvish get in trouble early. Because as great as I saw some of the pitching for Japan was, some of the arms for Japan started falling off after a couple pitches for some of these pitchers. They started throwing a lot of balls, losing the zone. Like I said, with the stud that they had starting the game, he only threw 2 pitches, and that's a high 100-mile-per-hour fastball and a splitter. That you really hoping the fastball fuck you up and you just chase the splitter. Especially now, I will say this: he did a good job at keeping his splitter in the bottom of the zone, in the strike zone. The problem, you actually don't want that splitter sitting in the bottom of the zone, in the strike zone. You want that to fall out of the strike zone and get hitters to chase that. Now, I'm not telling this dude nothing new. He a professional pitcher. I'm pretty sure he understand that. But you don't want a Mike Trout being able to just tee off on balls sitting at the bottom of a strike zone, but are in the zone, because Mike Trout drills low pitches in the zone. So you don't want to, plus a breaking ball that break and stay in the zone, you really don't want that. And once he started to hang that splitter, which is another problem when you only throw 2 pitches, you start to hang a splitter, it's all hell break loose. Because not only is that you not burying it no more, because obviously you hanging it, but now hitters just going to be able to tee off on it because it's coming in like a curveball kind of with a little, and if it's got crazy break with / velocity with the break, but it lose that velocity or it lose the break, so it's just looking like a fastball or something, and it's hanging over the middle of the plate, yeah, you got problems. So I agree with them having Yu Darvish. Plus, Yu Darvish is a great pitcher. Just signed an extension in the offseason. He's a great pitcher. So I hope we mop the flow with him, obviously, because I'm going for Team USA. But, you know, Yu Darvish, great pitcher. He done been to the WBC championship before. When he was a young pitcher, he actually pitched to help win the WBC for Team Japan. So it's pretty dope that he'll get an opportunity to do it again, play a big role in winning this championship for Japan, who haven't won it since they won it the second time all those years ago. But shout out to all the different studs on Team Mexico, from the pitchers to Manias, or all the different Rowdy Tellez. Obviously, the stud that is Randy motherfucking Arozarena, Luis Urias, Julio Urias. Just a ton of studs on Team Mexico. I know they wanted to win this thing. Mexico, I'm trying to tell you, bro, they was just a very clutch team. The pitching cost them in the end. Gallegos, I really don't want to shit on Gallegos or Gallegos, but I mean, he really shit the bed in that last inning. You could just see it. He didn't have it. And you can't blame Mexico's skipper, because this is a professional. This is one of the better closers in baseball in MLB. You expect that he can come in there and get those last 3 outs. I understand it's a 1-run game, but this is his job. This is literally what he does. Come in, give up a double. It was either a walk or another hit. And then you give up the blast walk-off double that win the game, that lose the game for Mexico. So, you know, Mexico's pitching in the back end of this game didn't really do them any favors whatsoever. The dude who gave it a 3-run blast to Yoshida, to Masataka Yoshida, it's just unfortunate, because if he get that out, I don't think he coming back in the game the next inning. The problem was, you had to trust that he could get at least one more strike to get, because it was even a 2-strike count. He had 2 strikes in the count. You hoping to get just one more strike, bro, and you out of this inning. And he gave up a 3-run tank, bro. Just an absolute down the line, perfect nuke right there by Masataka Yoshida. So just very unfortunate how. And then the next inning, Randy Arozarena come back. He followed up with a clutch hit. He made clutch defensive plays all night. If anything, that's the real loss in this, is that you won't be able to see Randy Arozarena for at least one more game. This dude is an absolute star. But pitching, And if anything, in my opinion, my only complaint with the WBC at this very moment is the pitching. Is the fact that the best of the best pitching. Now I can't really make that excuse for Gallegos. He just shit the bed tonight, unfortunately. Pissed down his leg. But the moment got a little too big for him. Bright lights were shining a little too bright. You know what I'm saying? The Triumph song started playing a little bit too early, too loud. He was in his head. But I don't think some of the pitching done been good enough with some of these teams. And I do think, like, example, you got so many of these these pitchers that cannot find the zone when they come in. And you can tell nerves is killing some of these pitchers. Like, these moments is way too big. That's why it's crazy. I keep telling you, it's crazy that you keep telling me that this don't mean shit. Because if it don't mean shit, then I don't know why pitchers keep coming in here and shitting the bed and pissing down their legs in some of these games. We done seen it from damn near every team. Pitchers is hitting dudes. Pitchers can't find the zone. You seeing some of the most egregious balls from some of these pitchers. Like some of these pitchers is lucky as nobody on bases when they throw some of these pitches because the pitch goes it's such wild pitches, some of them. Like, but you dealing with some of these pitchers is 19, 21, like AAA pitchers. I don't know how you do it by getting better pitchers to come. Mind you, a lot of the top pitchers for other countries came. It's really more of a bullpen and like the countries like Team USA, an exception of like one or two other countries who had good enough starting pitchers who just chose not to show up. Now, some of them play for different countries, so that don't count. Like, you might have a starting pitcher that played for Cuba, but could have played for like Mexico or the Dominican Republic or something like that. Like Patrick Sandoval could have played for another team, I think. Or it was some pitcher in this tournament who could have played for Cuba and was like, nah, I'm not playing for Cuba. Now, we do have a pitcher who played for Team USA who could have played for Cuba, I believe. And I think he shit the bed. So I don't even want to talk about him. However, throughout this tournament, to me, the only flaw that I see, and it's not like a big flaw to where I want to, make a big thing about it, but I just don't think some of the pitching have been good enough for some of these teams. And it's not the pitching necessarily not good enough. It's the motherfucker that's pitching not good enough. So that's my whole thing. But I even wish that now you can't really do this, but like some of these pitchers is coming in, bro, and you can see within the first batter they faced it. Man, I wish this motherfucker never came in this game. Like, you can't pull a pitcher till he faced 3 batters. Boy, you wish it was a rule that said otherwise, because some of these pitchers come into the game and they are so bad. Like, so bad. Like, example, Daniel Brard the other night. Some of these pitchers, the couple of dudes that came in for Venezuela the other night, dudes that came in for Mexico at the back end of this game tonight. The pitching was just so god awful. Whether dudes can't get their stuff right, whether dudes can't locate, every single one of these motherfuckers basically can't locate the zone consistently or at all. You got some of these dudes coming in throwing straight up. I think it was a pitcher either in tonight's game or yesterday's game who walked 2 dudes on 8 pitches. 4 balls is a walk. So if you walk 2 dudes on just straight up 4 pitches, that's insane. It was a pitcher who came in yesterday, I believe, who walked 2 dudes on 5 pitches. How can you do that? Because you hit the first dude. So that's a hit by pitch. So you go ahead and get to that bag. And then you follow it up by walking the next dude with 4 pitches. Some of these pitchers shouldn't be in the WBC playing. They should be in spring training. But, the pitchers seem to be the biggest bitches in the WBC or out of MLB players. Those are the ones who scared to get hurt and yada, 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 bro. Those is the biggest bitches in the out of this whole tournament. Because the level of superstar player that's playing for a lot of these teams, that's the hitters. Like, bro, Randy Arozarena is probably the best player on the Rays. You don't think he make a difference to the Rays? Mookie, I done went through the murderer's row on Team USA. What do you, like, they show up, they suffer the same risk of getting hurt, and they still ball out. Like, bro, it's just me, man. But listen, I expect that the championship game going to be exciting. I expect it's going to be fun. I do wish that the WBC happened every 2 years or 3 years rather than every 4 years. But nonetheless, Team USA, we got to get it done, bro. I will be plopped down in front of the TV tomorrow night, 7 o'clock on the dot to watch Team USA get this dub. Excuse me. And in 10 games or 10 days, start of the MLB season. Now, listen, I was thinking about something. The MLB season, I'm trying to think of the next time you'll have intensity. For one, it's not a game that'll probably happen this year that'll sell out the way these games been selling out for the WBC. But baseball really need to take a look at something, because for the WBC, and I'm stuck on this comment that I cannot remember what player made it. It was either Nelson Cruz or Xander Bogaerts. I can't remember exactly which player made it. It could be somebody completely different, who said this is really like, I think it was Nelson Cruz, who said that this was really the real World Series because there's so many different countries from all around the world playing in it. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. I actually wish they could find a way to make this tournament even longer. But here's my thing. Baseball have to find some type of way to replicate this feeling throughout the year. Only wait until the playoffs, and then the playoffs not even producing this same type of electricity every game is a bit of a, I'm not going to say it's bad for baseball, but it definitely would help if you found ways to produce. Now, listen, obviously every country is not going to be showing up to the game, supporting the teams that's playing, because they might not have a player on that team that's from their country. Or they might have a player on that team from their country, but they don't like that player. So obviously you can't expect to get the same type of fan show out and, you know, the excitement and the different things that players can do during the WBC. Obviously they probably can't do that during regular games and whatnot. Now, I really think the problem with the WBC, how it's been covered, is that a lot of Americans covering it. And the problem with a lot of the Americans covering is the only thing that matters to a lot of these Americans is the regular season. Because in America, the World Series matters to people. But you see, the other countries that have had announcers covering, or even if it's just Americans who've been in baseball long enough, who've been around the WBC, who understand truly what this means to baseball and fans and people and players, they are the ones who doing the best jobs covering this, because they're giving you insight into why the WB is as important as it is, why dudes is like, bro, Randy Arozarena called the Mexican president, or text the Mexican president, or message him or something like that in order to play for Team Mexico. This shit clearly matters to players. And I feel like if baseball could find, if the MLB could find some type of way to create this in baseball on a yearly basis, because I think to wait around for the WBC every year, especially when you have it as hot as it is right now, which the fans are telling you that they love what they are seeing in the WBC. They selling out every single game. I don't think the World Series was sold out. They showing you viewership. Like this has been probably the biggest thing in baseball this year, or in the last baseball calendar, 2 calendar year. And the World Series just happened a couple months ago. But the excitement around this, and I saw some jackass say, well, everybody going to be excited when the games don't mean nothing. What? I can't remember the last time people played in tournaments and continuously said throughout the tournament, these games don't matter. Like, what the fuck? That's just so crazy to me. But anyways, you have to find a way to create this type of excitement to keep fanfare around baseball like this, because you really don't have another game that bring baseball fans to the game the way the WBC done been. Bro, it's people in the stands who are not repping Mexico or USA or the team that's playing. Tonight, Japan was playing against Mexico. It was people wearing the Dominican Republic shirts in the stands. It was people wearing Team USA shirts in the stand. Venezuela shirts in the stand. Like, it's stands, people, it's fans in the stands who repping all countries, but they just want to see great baseball being played, bro. I don't know what event in baseball they could use to create this same type of feel around the game, but they got to find something. They got to find some way to do it, I think, because you got to find a way to capitalize off of these type of events, because it's sad that this going to go away for the next 3 years and come back that fourth year. You really want to capitalize on that. So I feel like they need to find a way to create some type of tournament in the off season that can happen probably every 2 years. Because you're just not going to be able to get a lot of the talking jackasses in the media who play too much of a role in sports. They'll get on it easily because they paid to say dumb shit and not actually. And they done got to the point in life where they don't actually love sports. They love what sports provides for them. They love that they can bump shoulders with, rich people, and they get paid a handsome sum to talk about it. They don't actually love sports no more. That's why they have a problem when people play sports and it's not nothing on the line, because in their opinion, it's pointless to play for something other than a championship. And those are the type of ignorant ass motherfuckers that they done put all throughout the sports media. And those are the type of people who don't understand the importance of a WBC. So, not really shocking there. But with that being said, I do think they got to find some way to get this feel throughout the year. Like, because of those talking heads in the media, they'll always be there to be like, oh, well, somebody could get hurt with this, people. And the people who keep saying, why wouldn't you play hard for your, the team that employ you? Bro, you don't go to work every day and come home and not do shit because of it might affect your performance at work. Yo, you motherfuckers stay up all night. You get drunk. You do all type of crazy shit and go into work the next day all fucked up. But you still show up. You can't perform. You nowhere near as good productive as a worker that day. But you still show up to steal that check. That's real funny to me. Again, you fans are hypocrites. And it's stunning to me how unbelievably unmoved hypocrites you are. Like, you hypocritical and it don't even bother you how blatantly hypocritical y'all is, bro. Like, it's crazy. It's stunning to me, to say the least. But because players have this and when you see players with the type of passion that these dudes in the W, you can't help but be affected by it, because it's contagious. So I do hope baseball find a way to do something like this, because ultimately you want to grow the sport. Obviously they want to make money, but making money directly coincides with growing the sport and doing different type of thing. And then, bro, just do something so that the good pitchers will fucking play. Like, make some type of, I don't care about the injury shit. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Like, let's say Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola went out there and played for one of these teams and got hurt. Let's say they took a season-ending injury. They still gonna get paid millions of dollars. The only thing I feel bad for about them is that they got hurt, because you don't want no player to get hurt. But him missing the season and all that other type of stuff, that's not going to bother me if they play for my favorite team, bro. It's not like they was out there. I'm not even somebody who get mad when dudes get hurt off the field. Like, oh, he was skateboarding and he fell and got hurt. Bro, these dudes cannot be expected to not do shit at the house but sit around and bubble wrap just because they get paid to play a game, bro. That's crazy. I don't sit at home and not do shit just because I get paid to go to work and be for a manual labor type of job every day. That's not how that shit works. So I'm not one of them people who was going to ever get mad that if somebody like, bro, JT Realmuto, Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber, all three of them motherfuckers play for my favorite team. All three of them motherfuckers could get hurt tomorrow. And I'm not going to blink and bat an eye. I'm going to say I hope they get hurt. Get healthy. Speedy recoveries. It's unfortunate. I'm not blaming the WBC. And I'm not going to stop watching the WBC. And I'm not going to hate the Phillies or get mad. Oh, you shouldn't have went because this didn't matter. No, this shit do matter. That's why they went. If it didn't, they wouldn't have showed up. See, Brandon Nimmo had this funny way of telling you that he actually didn't care about the WBC, but he tried to form it as if, oh, well, the Mets pay me, so motherfucker, they still gonna pay you if you get hurt too. What are you talking about? Edwin Diaz's contract wasn't null and void just because he got hurt with the playing in the he didn't even get hurt playing. He got hurt celebrating after the game. On top of all that, I think it's very funny that people say in the WBC because a closer got hurt. No disrespect to Edwin Diaz, who was the best closer in baseball last year. The year before that, Edwin Diaz struggled. The man was pointing to the sky for pop-ups that was home runs. Like, we're not going to act like he didn't go through that. So stop it, bro, trying to use this as excuses. Ignorant people will use any type of thing they can. It's like I was saying the other day, bro. I told my homie, bro, I look at this dude named Bobby Trossett talk about the Ravens, and I always get kind of irritated when I look at him because I always feel like it's this underlining tone of him really supporting the Ravens and dissing Lamar. But he's so good. And I found this. A lot of white dudes in the media is so great at talking circles around you to make you believe that they're not taking shots at players, but they really is. And I always done told people, this motherfucker is working for the Ravens. He is paid by the Ravens in some capacity. Somehow the Ravens is connected to him having success right now. So why would he say anything truly negative about the team? He not going to do that. He going to ultimately always go against Lamar because Lamar don't sign his checks. And when you got people who operate like that, which is over half of the media, this is what you're going to get. So that's just my, diss on that. But nonetheless, we back to baseball. Shout out to Team Mexico. Good luck next time y'all come to the WBC. I really do think baseball got to find a way to capitalize on this greatness of having baseball at this time of the year. This was just, it's like some of these dudes said for 10 years, say, why would you not want to play in this tournament at this moment right now? Like, this is so much more meaningful than spring training games. This is so much funner than spring. For one, I don't even watch spring training. And I'm not telling you that them dudes going out there competing don't matter to me. Spring training, the preseason for football, preseasons for basketball, summer league, like, bro, it's something special got to be happening for me to watch any of those. Aside from the pro, I have never in my life sat down and watched the preseason all the way. I can't do it. I tried to do that shit one year and I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not sitting down watching the preseason, bro. I don't sit down and watch the NBA preseason. I watched the summer league Lonzo Ball's first year. Ain't watched it since or before that. Like, if you believe, which I continue to say, baseball players who weren't playing in the WBC right now are playing in spring training, still getting hurt every year. And I've yet to see anybody say cancel spring training. This is also the part of the program because we get into the end of the show. And this went way longer than I thought it was going to go, where I shout out Trey Turner, America's shortstop, and Lance Lynn, America's ace. And I also shout out all my boys on Team USA, starting with my guy, Mookie Betts, Trouty, Goldie, Arenado, specifically, Schwartz, Trey, Real Muto. It's kind of biased because I love Trey, Schwartz, and Real Muto, period, because they play for my favorite team. It's kind of still biased with Mookie also because I love the Dodgers also. And he is my favorite player in baseball. So it's kind of biased when I put those in the group. But watching Paul Goldschmidt this WBC he one of my favorite players now. Arenado, one of my favorite players now. Mike Trout has always been a player I liked, but Mike Trout is one of my favorite players, but it ain't because of the WBC. The WBC helped it. It was when I looked at Mike Trout's stats from last year and realized this is the motherfucker that people been telling me he is. This motherfucker didn't even play a full season, bro, and he popped off for 40 fucking home runs. I'm truly convinced if Mike Trout had played a full year last year, he would have broke that record that Aaron Judge broke. And after seeing what he did last year and a half a season, see, to me last year, 3 dudes really showed me that they the best in baseball. And that's Mookie, Bryce, and Trouty for 3 different reasons. Mookie carried the Dodgers for a lot of last year, if not for all of last year. I don't think people realize how actually underwhelming some of the Dodgers players actually were. But to me, it wasn't because, see, you lose a Corey Seager, and I don't think people realize how great of a player that is and how stupid it was for the Dodgers to allow that motherfucker to walk. Like, you can just replace a Corey Seager. When you don't have that type of talent around players no more, people got to remember, when Mookie was first with the Dodgers, they had, coming off of an MVP season a couple years ago, Cody Bellinger, a World Series MVP in Corey Seager, and a lot of other studs still scattered around the lineup. The biggest star on the Dodgers, obviously, is Mookie. But who is second? Freddie Freeman, my boy Frederick. So when I look at Mookie do that, I'm like, it ain't too many players that can do that, if any. Then I look at Mike Trout and the fact that, like I said, didn't play nowhere near a full season and put up just ridiculous stats. And then I look at Bryce Harper and what he did in the playoffs, and I'm like, that's why motherfuckers need Bryce Harper in the playoffs. It's just those three dudes is different. But because of the WBC and how much I love the WBC, and I literally find myself saying that through every matchup, every dude who played for Team USA, I absolutely love all these dudes. I'm going to try to get their best version of their cards on MLB The Show. And I'm not going to get MLB The Show this week. I'm going to end up getting it next week, which is funny because I'm still getting the day one edition. I'm just not going to have my system till next week. So I hope I don't miss out on too much. But I absolutely love, I'm going to try to get the best versions of all these dudes who play for Team. I hope MLB The Show put Team USA players throughout the entire game. Or if I build the exact roster that Team USA had, as far as the hitters, that it'll give me some type of boost. Because I put Adam Wainwright on my team, even though he'll have a shit hit per nines. And I definitely put America's ace Lance Lynn on there. All them motherfucking pitchers aside from Presley, Miles, and Devin Williams, I can't imagine I would want none of them motherfuckers on my team. Brady Singh, I'm not going to go through the names because I don't want to be disrespectful. But this show done went for a long time. Did not know. It's so easy to talk about shit that you love. I did not know the episode was going to go. I expected to just give you like an 18, 20-minute episode. Look how much I fell in love with this shit, man. But, and like I said, bro, I've always wanted to bring more baseball content to the team. To the channel. I actually think my baseball content could be important for baseball fans, period. Because I'm not finna suffocate you with a bunch of numbers. I'm not going to do that. I think that's the biggest problem in baseball is that they turned baseball into a game of numbers. It's so hard for people to watch it and understand it now because they just throw a bunch of numbers at you off rip. You looking at guys that you watch grow up, be great players thinking that they was going to be Hall of Famers. And then once it's time for them to be the Hall of Famer, they like, well, his WAR and his wins above replacement, which is the same thing as WAR. All these different type of stats that don't really fucking matter, but we going to say they matter because that's how we can dictate how good somebody is because we ain't going to sit down and watch all 182 motherfucking games of the MLB season. I just think that's ruining the game of baseball. But things like this, like I said before, when you watch these WBC games, you don't care about ERAs. You don't care about all these stats and all these other type of dumbass things that come into play. You watching this shit and you just enjoying it. Straight up. But with that being said, I appreciate y'all for joining me on another episode of Kicking It With Saints. Shout out to Japan. Shout out to Japan on the big dub tonight. Shohei Ohtani-san, Masataka Yoshida, and Murakami. Shout out to them. Specifically my guy Shohei. I love you, Shohei. But shout out to them. Shout out to Mexico. Randy motherfucking Rosarena. What a phenomenal WBC, my boy. You earned yourself a shit ton of money through endorsements and just period. And like fans know who you are. They are going to love you, my guy. Shout out to Team USA. We got to get this big body dub tomorrow. I believe in Trouty, Mookie, Arenado, Goldie, Real Muto, Schwartz, Trey Turner, Mark DeRosa. Lead the boys. With that being said, I appreciate you for joining me on another episode of Kicking It With Saint. Tell somebody you fuck with them. Tell somebody you love them. You can be anything in the world. Choose to be kind to somebody today. Saint out.
Cracked in the air, deep center field. Thomas on the move. It's off the wall. Ohtani's in to score. Here comes the winning run. Japan turns it around on its last breath.
I got the moves like hot sauce. Lil' mama taking the top off. I'm laying down getting topped off. After this, she getting knocked off. I know she loving the money, so I keep on thumbing and thumbing. She say she horny when she taking shots, so I keep them coming and coming. Now I'm putting dick in her tummy, scoop her up like I'm raking her something. You would think shawty red track, the way that she running and running. You getting dumber and dumber, you out here chasing the bone. After she finished from giving me dome, the Uber is taking her home. Tight.